Fine. So let us revise our unit 2. Okay, drugs acting on autonomic nervous system. In that, unit 2 deals with sympathomimetics and sympatholytics, adrenergic drugs. So the first MCQ is which of the following are endogenous catecholamines? It is very sad to see people marking these questions wrong. Okay, so we were repeating, we even saw the biosynthesis of catecholamines. So we know there are three chief catecholamines for us. One is dopamine, other one is noradrenaline and adrenaline. So if you see options, we have to see all the options. Okay, people who marked all of the above, see, please do refer to the notes. Okay, and these are examples of sympathomimetics, phenylephrine and salbutamol. Okay, so in order to confuse only I have given. So we have to see all the options. Which of the following are endogenous catecholamines? Among three, adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, you have only dopamine in the option. So dopamine is the only answer. And the same question and options changed. Which of the following are endogenous catecholamines? Epinephrine or adrenaline. Okay, and the same question with the third one included. Norepinephrine is the endogenous catecholamine. So which of the following are alpha adrenergic receptor agonists? So isoproterenol, terbutaline, salbutamol. Okay, go to the classification, we'll get the clarity which agonists are there. Okay, here clonidine is the only alpha adrenergic receptor agonist. What else is there apart from alpha under adrenergic receptors? Beta is there. So go to your classification and check whether they come under alpha agonists or beta agonists. And which of the following are alpha adrenergic receptor agonists? The same question, but I just wanted to include all the drugs under the classification in different questions. That is the simple logic. So if you know the classification well, you can easily attempt these questions. So among the options, nafazoline is one of the alpha adrenergic receptor agonist. And the same question and options changed with bitalterol. Bitalterol is beta adrenergic receptor. So once I have completed alpha receptor agonist, I just wanted to include beta receptor agonists. So first question, I just wanted to include bitalterol. So bitalterol is a beta receptor agonist. Then the same question with other drugs included. Now, as see the technique, this is a very simple technique. So I just wanted to change the way of asking the question. So which of the following are beta adrenergic receptors? Now if you observe options, earlier I included only one. Here I have included three correct answers, and so all of the above: isoproterenol, terbutaline, salbutamol. All the three are beta adrenergic receptor agonists. So which of the following is dual alpha and beta adrenergic receptor agonist? We have only one example, that is dobutamine. Okay, so students who got confused, please do refer to the classification. You should be thorough with the classification. It should be on your fingertips. So which of the following are alpha adrenergic receptor agonists? See again. Xylometazoline, oxymetazoline, methyl-dopa, all comes under alpha adrenergic receptor agonist. So the option will be all of the above. And which of the following are indirect acting sympathomimetics? Amphetamine, hydroxyamphetamine, propylhexedrine. So all are indirectly acting sympathomimetics. And which of the following is correct sequence with respect to the biosynthesis of catecholamines? So till the previous question, I wanted you to perfect in classification. So now I just wanted to move on to the biosynthesis. Okay, so biosynthesis, first is tyrosine, then tyrosine hydroxylase converts tyrosine into dopa. Dopa decarboxylase enzyme acts on dopa, convert it into dopamine. Then dopamine beta hydroxylase convert dopamine into noradrenaline, and noradrenaline will come on acted upon by N-methyl transferase to get adrenaline, right? So the sequence is the first one, tyrosine, DOPA, dopamine, noradrenaline, and adrenaline. And deamination of catecholamines with respect to their metabolism is performed by which of the following enzyme? So deamination means removal of amine group. So if you observe the metabolism of catecholamines, monoamino oxidases, MAO, indicated by MAO, are the enzymes which carry out deamination process of catecholamines during their metabolism. Dopgal is a intermediate, right? And dopa carboxylase, catechol decarboxylase, other enzymes not related here. And which of the following are adrenergic receptors? So it is very easy. Nicotinic muscarinic comes under cholinergic receptors. So alpha and beta are the adrenergic receptors. So cholinergic receptors, nicotinic and muscarinic. So here there was a problem in selecting two, right? Both cannot be selected. That is a technical error, but I just clarified that you can select any one of the two right answers. Even that is fine. Okay. So basic structure of sympathomimetics constitute which of the following? So this question can be answered if you know structure activity relationships. So sympathomimetics have a catechol ring, then ethylene bridge followed by terminal amino group. So all these three are the part of parent structure of the sympathomimetics. So all of the above. And which of the following statements are correct with respect to SAR of sympathomimetics, structure activity relationship of sympathomimetics. So catechol ring substituted with bulky group is essential for receptor affinity. So it is wrong because bulky groups should be discouraged. And as the size of alkyl group of the nitrogen increases, alpha receptor activity decreases and it goes on. Okay, so beta receptor selectivity increases. Okay, so that is true. So the alkyl group will decide which receptor it is going to get attracted to. So that is the only true statement. And the next one is absence of terminal amino group increases the efficacy of sympathomimetics. So if there is an absence of amino group, the parent structure itself is very much deficient. So amino group should be present. So through this, you should remember the main points from structure activity relationships. In order to confuse, I have also given all of the above. So people got confused and okay, most of the answers will be all of the above. So I'll just go for it. So don't do such things. Prepare well and try to check the options. And the next question is also regarding SAR of sympathomimetics. So here all the statements are true. Okay, substitution on beta carbon atom generally decreases central stimulant action and enhances phenyl ethylamine lacking both the aromatic hydroxyl and beta hydroxyl on the ethyl side chain can produce all their antagonist effects, I guess. Okay, the receptor selectivity of the drug depends on the substituent at aromatic ring, and further sentences you please refer. And so all these sentences are true, so the option is all of the above. So for sympathomimetics, you have to remember the parent chain, and you should remember that there are three constituents in parent chain. One is catechol ring, ethylene bridge, and terminal amino group. So based on the changes, based on the alkyl substitutions on terminal amine, they will be changing their receptor selectivity and efficacy. Okay, and the parent structure is very much effective with these three components. What is the starting material for the synthesis of salbutamol? So methyl salicylate and chloroacetyl chloride are the starting materials for the synthesis of salbutamol. So other things are just made up for options. Identify the drug in the following image. So image things you know very well, so I just don't want to discuss them because you just compare them with the notes and revise their chemical structures. Okay, so I have given bitoldrol, but it is not as discussed in the notes, but it is how it is available in the online. Okay, online sources. Fine. So diethyl structure needs to be memorized and identified. So the same thing, norepinephrine was given, epinephrine was given, dopamine is given, phenylephrine is given. Almost all drugs are included with their structures. So you need to remember their structure and identify which drug it is. So clonidine is given, dobutamine is given, isoproterenol is given, nafazolin, terbutaline, salbutamol, xylometazoline, oxymetazoline. So the difference is oxy and xylo, extra hydroxyl group in xylometazoline. So please do revise and recollect what I have told regarding the tips how to remember. We have to compare the chemical structures and identify. If we can relate their functional groups with the name, it is fine. If not, we have to compare with the other drug in the same category. So amphetamine structure was given, pseudoephedrine was given, propylhexedrine was given, ephedrine was given, metaraminol, and so other name of salbutamol is albuterol. So this was given in the name itself, in the notes. So other name of isoproterenol is isoprenaline. So people have opted for the things which I didn't discuss in class also. So they are not even present in the notes. So which of the following is or ergot alkaloids? So methoxyzide and dihydroergotamine are the only two examples we have for ergot alkaloids. And which of the following is or ergot alkaloids? So the same question is repeated, I guess. Yeah. So methoxyzide and dihydroergotamine. So from this, I just wanted to ensure that you remember the classification again. And which of the following is or quinazolines? So the subcategories under classification are given. So the subcategories, if they are mentioning some ring, heterocyclic ring type, you need to remember those ring types, and you should know the structure of quinazolines. So in order to remember the actual structure of the drugs under that classification. So prazosin comes under quinazolines. So imidazoline ring is present in tolazoline and phentolamine. So which of the following is are imidazolines? So phenoxybenzamine is a beta halo alkylamine. So this is a chemical subcategory under classification. If you observe the options, all chemical subcategories are given. So it tests you how much you remember the classification. So identify the drug in following image. So methoxyzide structure was given to identify dihydroergotamine, prazosin. See, dihydroergotamine and methoxyzide, they are large structures. Okay. So here in the notes, we take carbamide bonding, and we'll remember which heterocyclic is there on right side and left side. And we compare methoxyzide with that of dihydroergotamine. Okay. So in the images we given, they must be changing. The ring on right side will be on the left and vice versa. So those changes can be observed. And identify the drug in following image, that is prazosin. Tolazoline structure was given to identify phentolamine, phenoxybenzamine. Okay, then what is the starting material for the synthesis of tolazoline? So we have very selected drugs for the synthesis. So people who don't know at least this, what drugs are there for knowing synthesis. We have very selected one or two for each category. We have to learn synthesis for only one or two. So if you remember tolazoline also, you can easily, if you remember the structure, you can easily correlate with the starting material. Okay, so we have very few, so you should at least remember them, not only few, one or two, right? So ergot consists of dried sclerotium of the fungus Claviceps purpurea. And that fungus grows on the trees belong to which family? Gramineae and Cyperaceae, both. And which of the following drugs belong to aryl ethanol amine category? So these are beta blockers, right? So labetalol. And again, I wanted you to remember beta blockers, beta adrenergic receptor antagonists classification. So which of the following drugs belong to aryl oxypropanol amine? So all of the above: esmolol, etanolol, metibranolol. And what is the starting material for the synthesis of propranolol? Naphthol and epichlorhydrin. So images of the drugs are given to identify. First, labetalol is given. See, if you observe, the all the options under the category are given. So the following question will have carvedilol. Then next question will have propranolol image. The next question is atenolol, metoprolol. It is very easy. But although it is easy, the one who didn't refer to the notes doesn't know this logic. Okay, so the people who knows and who have given their true attempt to learn the structures will know the logic easily and will attempt all the following questions up to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 9 questions from here. All will be right, because the next question will have the structure of carvedilol, then propranolol, atenolol, metoprolol, metibranolol, esmolol, betazolol. Because I have to prepare n number of questions and I am running out of the time. I have spent almost 3 to 4 hours to prepare all these questions. So I have to be tech savvy, but I am not. So I have to do that. So this is how I did it. So this is the simple logic. I guess most of the people got this logic and they have gone correct for identifying the images. But this is a cheat trick. Okay. So please do go back to the notes and please do refer to the structures, chemical structures of the drugs again. And atenolol, all the drugs in the classification in the syllabus are given. Okay, metibranolol, esmolol, betazolol, bisoprolol. With that, examples are exhausted under that category. So I just switched to other questions. So what is that? SCR. So structure activity relationships of beta adrenergic blocking agents. For this also you should remember the basic structure. Either it is aryl oxy, it is usually aryl ethanolamine, and other category is aryl oxy. We are inserting oxy group between aryl compound, aryl group and the alkyl chain, ethylene bridge, right? So ethanolamines, and the next most of the drugs coming under aryl oxy propanolamines, right? Propanolamine hydroxy group is a secondary attachment attached to secondary carbon. So coming to structure activity relationships, beta blockers are structurally similar to beta agonists. Yes, they are structurally similar. Depending on the modifications, they will act either as agonist or antagonist. So the catechol ring should not be replaced. Yeah, you can easily replace catechol ring. And NN disubstitution increases beta blocking activity. So NN disubstitution should be avoided. And all of the above to confuse. So which of the following statements is or correct with respect to the SCR again? So all the true statements were given and all statements are correct. And to confuse you, I have given all statements are false. So beta blockers are structurally similar to beta agonist. Okay, that is already covered in the previous question. The catechol ring can be replaced by variety of ring systems. Yes, NN disubstitution decreases beta blocking activity. Then the 2-carbon chain is essential for activity. So all these are true, and all the sentences are as it is from your notes. So I didn't mention anything other than the provided material. And which of the following statements is or correct with respect to SAR of beta adrenergic blocking agents? So again, I have given remaining statements in the last question, and I just wanted to check whether we will put it right or wrong. So okay, most of the students did right thing. So human brain will have different pattern of cognitive ability. Cognitive means remembering capacity. So at the first instance, you will get some brainwashing. If you read it again, you will get something out of it and you will understand what he is telling about regarding the topic. Afterwards, you have to read it so that you will get a common idea outline of whole of the chapter. Then after, you have to remember. For that, in order to memorize, you need to follow the tips I have told you. So for our purpose of medicinal chemistry 1, we need to remember classification first. Okay, so classification under which subcategory, what all are the subcategories are there, what all are the examples of each subcategory. For that, you need to practice. So first you remember how many main subcategories are there. Okay, then under subcategories, how many subcategories are there. Then practice those things separately. After remembering the subcategories, then go for memorizing the examples, the drug candidates for each subcategory. This is how you should take pen and paper and practice. After mastering the classification, now go to the drug structures, chemical structures. And most of the drugs of belonging to the same category will have similar parent structure, only difference will be substituents. So we need to observe the similarities and differences between two or more drug molecule structure in order to remember. And most of the times, if you can correlate with the name, you can correlate the structure with that name. In if you There are few instances where we cannot relate. Okay, in such cases you have to remember those things as such. Okay, that is how you will remember the chemical structures. And coming to the synthesis, there is something called retrosynthetic analysis. That means we'll come back, we'll start learning from backwards. Once you remember the structure of the drug which needs to be synthesized, accordingly starting materials can be remembered. Okay, we'll add to starting materials and we do similar or required modifications to the starting materials in order to get our final structure. For that, whatever the reaction is undergoing, accordingly we'll add the reagents. Okay, so that is how we have to remember the synthesis. And finally, coming to the structure activity relationships, after observing all chemical structures and all, you can correlate all the chemical structures with that of the matter mentioned in the structure activity relationships. Okay, now while learning your chemical structures of the drugs mentioned, you can observe the changes. According to their changes, they are coming into the other category, agonist to antagonist, or alpha to beta, or likewise. Okay, so all these things can be correlated in structure activity relationships in order to remember them well. Okay, so these are the things very much important, basic things to remember for our things. So one is classification, the other one is chemical structure and synthesis of important drugs, third important one is structure activity relationships. Among above all, we need to remember the uses and mechanism. So when it comes to mimetic, they will act like endogenous neurotransmitter. Antagonist or lytic will act in the opposite manner of the endogenous neurotransmitter. That is the mechanism of action. So for that, you need to remember the distribution of receptors and what receptor will produce what action in that particular organ. For that, I have provided you the table. So try to recollect all these things, go and revisit the notes again. Okay, so this is how we have revised our unit 1 and 2 through multiple choice questions, MCQs. One moment.